Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to my UVTO residents and welcome to Marketing's guests. We love our partnership with New West Symphony, and these Meet the Artists are just wonderful programs where we get an intimate look at least one of our artists. Today we welcome back conductor Michael Christie, and he has with him, yes, he deserves a round of applause, and award-winning pianist Janice Carissa. I had the pleasure of hearing Janice just practice a little bit, and I was blown away. Beautiful, beautiful. If you wouldn't mind, please silencing your cell phones. We always appreciate that very, very much, and enjoy the performance. Welcome back.
Thank you, Holly. Happy New Year, everybody. We can still say that, right? We're in January. We're still okay. We're awesome. Janice, join me, please. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a treat. We have an amazing program for you. This year, 2026, is the culmination of several seasons' work on our road to 250. So in 2023, we started saying to our audiences here, America's birthday's coming up, 2026, 250 years. And people are like, what? 226, that is years from now. And we've been talking to civic leaders, we've been talking to educational institutions, have been saying, America's 250th birthday, it's coming, please don't forget this. What? Well, here we are, 2026. And I am so proud and so thankful to our New West Symphony board and to my colleagues on the staff for helping me create this trajectory that has taken us already on a journey celebrating our remarkable musical heritage. From the beginning, I wanted to make sure it was not in any way a political statement one way or the other. Thank goodness that I decided that. Because our musical heritage is just so interesting, because not only of what we've created here, but all of the influences that have gone into the storytelling that we are able to glean of our history through our music. Whether that is the formation of the country in the late the 18th century, where Europe was the predominating voice, where music of Mozart, who was still living, by the way, when America's Declaration of Independence was signed, the music of Beethoven. Beethoven would have been very young at that point. 1770 is when he was born, so he was a wee tyke at that point when America started its most embryonic moments. But Beethoven was living during some of the most dramatic moments of what was going on in the history of Europe, which kind of set it off on its course in the 19th century as well. So with those kinds of things in mind, I've created a season where, yes, we're going to play music of American composers. We are going to do a survey of sorts of the stylistic genres that evolved in the United States. But also I thought it would be fun to acknowledge that composers that we would normally attribute or associate with classical music, they were doing their thing when America was developing in its earliest days. So the next concert we'll be doing in March features scenes from the Marriage of Figaro of Mozart, and that will be in a semi-staged, so our performers will have interaction with each other. But then I thought, well, singers, that's fantastic, but America's vocal history is also so interesting because early in the 20th century, we had more and more popular styles of music becoming well known throughout the United States, and then this break happens between musical theater and opera. And musical theater is in English, there's more spoken, dance becomes part of it in the mid-20th century, microphones become part of musical theater, and suddenly we have a whole new genre in opera and musical theater, except for composers like Leonard Bernstein and George Gershwin really have not met too often. They're really in their own separate worlds. The next concert we do in April, we go back to a tried and true classic of our standard orchestral repertory, Brahms' First Symphony, written in, and this year is important, 1876. If you think about 1776, so there's Johannes Brahms writing When America Turns 100. And so that's kind of the strategy that I've used for putting the program together for this whole season, is to make sure that we cover rhythm and blues, make sure we cover West Side Story, make sure we acknowledge George Gershwin, all these kinds of influences, but at the same time saying, wow, the world was turning and churning at the same time our country was taking its steps throughout its 250 years. So this program is a lot of fun because it does lean a little bit on patriotism, and we had 2 donors at an event this past summer put up their hand and make a donation, and the prize was to conduct the Star-Spangled Banner. How many of you have conducted the Star-Spangled Banner? You have conducted the Star-Spangled Banner. Why am I not surprised by that? The Star-Spangled Banner is in 3, which is a waltz tempo, and this thing is a pain in the butt. I'm just going to say right now. And these 2 wonderful supporters of the orchestra have allowed me to come into their home, teach them how this thing works. We've had videos, I've made these instruction sheets for how to do it, and I am so proud of how well they have prepared for it. So we'll have the Star-Spangled Banner and a very potentially nervous, but hopefully big smiling guest conductor. And then we have Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto. And that piano concerto was not written in the United States, but Rachmaninoff in 1917 fled Russia during the October Revolution, and he would move to New York City, spend the rest of his life until just the very end when he would come to the Los Angeles area, and he only was here for about a year or so. But this piano concerto is one of the very most famous piano concertos of all time, and he himself, as soloist, played it 143 times in his life. And the best part is that we have recordings of him playing. So when you go onto Spotify and you go back, or on YouTube this afternoon, or whenever you want to just hear this concerto, type in Rachmaninoff plays Rachmaninoff, and you'll see the albums. There's at least 2 recordings with the Philadelphia Orchestra, and it is fascinating. It's usually very fast, which I don't know as a pianist how you feel about that, but then...
No excuses.
It can be done, right?
Unfortunately.
Right. But then he takes some rubato, so sense of time, that almost nobody does anymore. But it's so poetic, and it's so very, very interesting. So Janice, before we get you playing your first piece, so you were born and raised in Indonesia.
Indeed, that is correct.
And your mother was your piano teacher.
Indeed, that is correct.
All right, so take us through those first 15 years.
Okay, buckle up. So I was born in a town called Surabaya. Has anyone here heard of Surabaya before? It's not too far from Bali. It's only a 30-minute flight east to Bali. So I could have gone to the beaches all my life, but guess what? I didn't go to Bali for the first time until I moved to America. Surprising, right? Surprising. So I grew up in a musical household. My mom runs a music school, only piano. She teaches morning and night, and I also grew up with a musical brother. And so both of us would do a lot of 4 hands, do a lot of 2 pianos. We did primarily, I mean, of course there's classical, but we also did improvisation. And so my mom also made us do some popular music, transcriptions. And so it's interesting, I grew up playing more pop, non-classical things. And then as I get older and I realized I wanted to take it more seriously, then my mom was like, okay, now you should do these examinations. It's the Royal Examination, ABRSM, that's based in London. There's grade 1, 2, 3 until 8. And basically each grade, you're assigned all these pieces that you have to play, and then you get graded. And so I did all of that, and I guess I realized I have a lot of enjoyment out of it. I realized that music is one of those things that allowed me to just sharpen my focus, because growing up I was quite all over the place, and the only 2 things that can calm me down is a coloring book
or a piano.
And is that true still? Do you do those very, very fine coloring exercises that
It was
people
just
do?
one of those like already outlined, and then you can just like color them.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just start carrying empty papers to my school, like all these things, and then I would just draw in class. Technically, I'm not supposed to,
Yeah.
but I've always loved art. I've always loved art. I've always loved music, and I feel like these two are one of the mediums that I feel like I resonate with the most, that I can express myself more freely.
And tell us a little bit about your mom then. What was her training in piano?
So she's primarily self-taught. So she would take lessons with anyone that passes through Indonesia. And so when she had me when she was 33. And so I was a newborn. And there's this embassy, and they've invited this German pianist. We called him Hanschok, and they couldn't get a hotel for him. It was overbooked. So then they were asking for volunteers on the concert if they could host him. And so my mom raised her hand and said, I have a newborn, so you'll hear crying baby all night, but if you're okay with that, you can stay at my place. And so, long story short, they developed like a really close friendship, and then he started visiting multiple times a year. And whenever he comes, he would give my mom lessons, and he would give my mom's students lessons. And eventually, when I'm slightly older, when I was 5, I couldn't do anything, he would also kind of show me a few things on the piano. And so that's kind of how she deepened her knowledge. And then she also took a lot of theory lessons, and actually she studied with someone that studied with Messiaen. And so at home we have all these markings that are actually Messiaen's own handwriting, which is like really, really fascinating. But of course, like I would like to go home and take a look at that more deeply, because I don't go home very often. So, yeah.
Well, maybe the first piece you'll play, which is Fairy Tale, would just give us a little bit of a transition into the young Janice, maybe.
Oh gosh, she's having too much fun. All right. So this is Nikolai Medtner, Opus 34, number 2, Fairy Tales. And instead of the usual idea of fairy tales where it's princesses and things like that, this is more like exploring the darkness elements, so like witchcraft, ogres, and fairies, and things that are a bit more ominous, but it's very beautiful, very lyrical. It's got this very stormy left hand, all these notes that just keeps coming in waves, and the right hand just soars into like this really melancholic and really yearning melody. So, fairy tales.
That
Trust me,
is,
my heart is beating fast right now.
oh, that is so remarkable. And I will say, I mean, if you had told me that that was Rachmaninoff, I probably would have believed you.
Exactly. A lot of people thought this was Rachmaninoff etude that was like lesser known or something, but they definitely share that similar language. Very passionate. There's this thing that I always joke with my friend where Rachmaninoff would take every opportunity to finish his ing as fast as possible. He would fill the pages with all these notes, but every note means something, and they add up to something. And when I discovered this piece, I just remembered, wow, like I can't believe I've never heard of this composer before and this piece before, and so I decided to do it. And oftentimes I pair it as an encore when I play Rachmaninoff.
That must bring down the house. So why don't we talk a little bit about Rachmaninoff, because we're just so thrilled to have you here doing this concerto. It is one of those pieces, I think, when people haven't heard it in a while and they hear those first bars, it's like, oh wow, it's this piece, and here we go on this journey.
Yeah.
Can you maybe just play the opening,
Yes.
just those opening chords, and then let's just chat about them a little bit. You guys are in for a treat this weekend. So as you mentioned before about Rachmaninoff and just all these notes, I mean, even those chords have all these notes.
Yeah.
So tell us how you as the interpreter decide, as those chords are progressing,
Yeah.
which notes why do you bring out certain notes? How do you make those decisions?
Yeah.
Why don't you hear one?
Oh, okay. So what's really interesting about this opening is that technically the skeleton of this piece, the opening is these double do. Is it like this? Okay, great. Okay. The double do. And you strike this multiple times. And what he does is that he begins with this chord. And then he thinks, what happens if I add one more note? And then he thinks, what would happen if I move it half step up? One more up. Not just one up. Fourth up. And now he plays with directions. He goes opposite. And then now he adds even more notes, suspension. And then he throws the game over, which is where the tragedy really strikes. And so all of this creates this, what's the right word? Anticipation. And therefore, when he arrives into the actual key of the piece in C minor, it feels like a true moment of arrival. Because if he starts the concerto immediately with that waves immediately, it wouldn't be as powerful. So he knew he had to create this anticipation. And it's so brilliant. It's also nerve-wracking to play.
Well, why is that? Tell us.
Well, first of all, Rachmaninoff was blessed with very, very big hands. My hand is probably half the size of his. So his hand can reach a 15th. This is one hand. Wow. On a good day, I can reach a 10. On a good day.
Wow.
And Rachmaninoff, if he placed my span, instead of opening up his arm, it would look like he's doing this. But for me, I really have to work on that. And it's really tricky because you can't just break chords randomly. It has to be done with meaning and intention and with certain breathing and what is natural. Like, for example, the way string players break their chords. They really have to think very critically. Sometimes pianists, we get a little bit clumsy, we just do, you know? But string players, they have to think about the connection between all the notes. So this opening forces me to really listen in between the notes, more than the note itself.
And you do also have a little neighbor.
Exactly.
That's happening. So tell us a little about that.
So, again, this is so brilliant. The opening, all of this, he could have just done this. Nothing else. But instead, he does. And some say this could be the clock striking 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Darkness is here. It's really, really interesting. And this concept was actually introduced to me by my teacher, who I was working on Prokofiev, one of the war sonatas, and he truly believed that this is like the bells and churches telling you what time it is. And so here Rachmaninoff is creating this feeling of this is nighttime, this is not daytime. And so, but of course, he will gift you with one of the most heartwarming, like you're flying to the sun, but you're not close enough that you're going to be burned. But it's really one of the most beautiful melodies ever written for the piano, in my opinion.
And then, yeah, take us on why don't we just take a quick little melodic tour of the concerto,
Okay.
right? So first movement, kind of one of the great themes,
Yeah, okay.
the first movement.
Yep. I'll go from maybe the orchestra part,
Sure.
just to kind of
I have to imagine with this kind of music, the juxtaposition between momentum, sentimentality,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
How do you kind of think about structuring the music so that you don't kind of wallow?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
It's tricky because it can definitely border on the cheesy. And I don't think Rachmaninoff is a cheesy person. But what is really interesting with this melody is that he's actually very, very specific with his marking. One would think it's just this one whole line over all these beautiful notes, but he marks them as phrases very, very clearly, which is one slur, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And as if that's not enough, he adds all these little tenutos, which is when you help the note so that you inject feeling to it. But it's not the kind of extroverted feeling, but rather it's more of intimacy. And that's what he does with these phrases. It's a lot of these like really small markings, and he writes ritardando and then a tempo again. And of course, I think the answer is always on the orchestra writing. It's always good to have that in mind because he's such an amazing orchestral writer. So.
All right, the second movement, well, I'll let you guys, if you don't already know the pop song that was made this in the kind of 80s, very famous, but you'll probably hear it in a minute, but why don't you take us a little tour of the second movement?
Yes. Just the melody.
Sure.
Maybe I'll play the chord.
Sure. It's so beautiful. All by myself, right? Of course, right?
There's another one.
Oh, really?
I think it's called Whatever We May Feel. But,
That's right, we'll let people look it up.
yeah, I think it's called, and it's really, it was written just a few years after the concerto was
I
released.
see.
But she copy-pasted the melody precisely, exactly. And then she changes.
Oh,
But
right.
she plays it. All of that.
Oh my goodness.
It's pretty amazing.
And then the third movement.
Yeah.
What's special about the third movement? Because boy, it's just like
It's the
all
best.
these sections, right? It's all
Yeah.
these sections that are happening.
It's really exciting.
You
It's
feel like you're on one track and then suddenly it veers
Yeah.
onto another track.
there. I mean, just I can play maybe just a slight opening or something. I'll probably just stop right there.
Yeah.
So there's all of this section and everything. and not long after all of this, I'll play a little bit. And then orchestra comes in. That's all under one movement. And of course, things are going to get crazier later.
Yeah, they get crazier later. I was even
later.
thinking, what you were talking about those chords in the first movement, about the decisions you have to make about timing.
Yeah.
About when those majestic moments happen where both hands just hit at exactly the same moment, but then leading up to that, there's the timing of when the left hand plays that bottom note compared to the top note, and it's such an individual, it's like it's almost like a fingerprint, I feel like, because every artist has just that slightly different flavor for how it is. So, we're a small group here, right? 150 people or so. We'll ignore the internet world. Do you have a favorite part?
Oh my god.
Sorry, I know it's...
To be honest, probably this melody just now. I think just something about it. It's so... I think oftentimes when we think of Rachmaninoff, we think of someone who's, with all of these really dense and just really dark, really rich dark chocolate sauce, kind of like decadence, and always full of all these swirly bits that were just like too many notes. But then he shows his really vulnerable side here. I mean, this is really him, maybe kind of just in his own thoughts, looking out a window, and he's kind of just reminiscing, or maybe he misses somebody. I don't know. But this is a window to his soul, in my opinion. And so this is a moment that I look forward to every time I play it. And of course it comes back twice.
Right.
And I think the second time is when it's actually more special. But you have to come to find out what happens.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
The pieces that you have for us today are all pieces of composers that we don't, I mean, apart from Rachmaninoff, that are new to us, like the first piece that you played. What about, what's the next one you want to do?
So, the next one is by Frederick Rzewski. He's a Polish-American composer. What's really special about him is that he's a musician who also writes in solidarity with political things that are happening around. So in the 1970s, he wrote this piece called Winsboro Cotton Mill Blues. Has anyone here watched the movie Norma Ray? Yes, okay. Do you remember there's a scene where they're in the factory with all this milling machine and all this sound of tick, 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 tick. And they're trying to talk to one another, but they can't quite hear because there's all of this overwhelming machinery that's happening. And so this piece is kind of a simulation of that, because he wanted to stand up for the workers who are not getting paid equal wages. And so he wanted to write music to kind of simulate the environment that they're in. So these workers, they work night and day, surrounded by machines, and at some point you start becoming more like, are you a human or are you the machine? Because you come home and you bring this noise with you. And so the way he writes this piece is really fascinating, because you're not only going to see me play with my fingers, you're going to see me play with my palms, my wrists, and eventually my elbows. And so there's a lot of clustering happening, and it begins with this rhythm, tika, 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 tika. But then he keeps clustering and adding notes to create the sound of 5 machines being on at once, or 100 of them all at once. So there's all of that. And then at some point, he quotes Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto, the opening chord that you heard. He writes it in this piece. And then after all of this madness, he gives you this really melancholic melody inspired by Billie Holiday. And so, but the idea is that a tune is something that you earn in this piece, and that when you have it, you hold on to it because your heart needs it. And so it's really interesting, and I hope you all enjoy it. And yeah, this is Winsboro Cotton Mill Blues by Rzewski.
And she can stand up. Oh my goodness, come on over. You need to take a break from that piano. Wow, that is such a gift. Wow, thank you so much. That was amazing. I was trying to think when you said we have to earn it. I thought, did we earn it in the audience? Did you earn it as the pianist? Did the piano earn it? Not sure the piano has had a workout like that I'm aware of. So
sometimes I do wonder, when is it going to be the time when I'm going to break a string?
break a string. Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
inevitable with this. Not yet, not yet.
So I thought we'd just take a minute. I want to just give you a little break because my colleague, our CEO, Natalia Stanova, is here, and again, just beautifully dressed as always. And I want to bring you up here, Natalia. A special moment for our organization, special moment for Natalia. She's been with us for 17 seasons, and we've been colleagues since 2018. So we've really conquered so many things together, and I think having all of this activity culminating in this A250 moment is, it's very, very special.
Michael, thank you. But before we go there, can we give another round of applause for Janice? Just remember her name. I mean, this is why we do what we do, really. And I think that I started in 2008. And I remember that my first Rachmaninoff second piano concerto was at Hollywood Bowl when Daniel Trifonov just made his debut with Los Angeles Philharmonic. It wasn't the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra, it was Los Angeles Philharmonic. And serendipitously, that Rachmaninoff played his last piano concerto at Hollywood Bowl as well. So anyway, just listening and reminiscing, I have a lot of nostalgia, just like Rachmaninoff. You know, when you say it's the note to his soul, I feel it. So I asked Michael if I could join you today because before Michael, I used to sit here and interview the guest artists, and those were my favorite moments. And that's why I fell in love with the symphony. That's why I stayed with the symphony. It's because of the music and the moments like this. And I also wanted to thank all of you for being such amazing partners. And I'm seeing Selena over here, so all of you have been such an amazing part of my life at the Symphony. And I just wanted to give you a big bow, you know, my thank you for everything. And also acknowledge my partner in crime, whose birthday is today, Dr. Paul Finkel. He was one of my first board chairs. And he's still with the Symphony. He is immediate outgoing chair. He is finally moving on from the Symphony in the leadership capacity. So Paul and I have spent a lot of days and sometimes nights thinking about the Symphony, scratching our heads, how we're going to make it. You know, there were fires, pandemic, financial meltdowns, and all of that. And I think that when they say it takes a village, I wanted to say sometimes it takes a university village to help us and get through and really make sure that we continue investing in the community, continue investing in the artists and the music and the programming. So big thanks, many highlights for me, and I'm here just to facilitate the energy that is music. And I think today you felt it, right? I have not seen a single person here without a big smile when Janice was talking about swirly notes, you know, and stormy left hand. I mean, it's amazing. So thank you for being with us. Michael, thank you for the partnership. Dr. Paul Finkel, happy birthday. What a great weekend. This is my last weekend when I'm wearing the CEO tag, and I'm wearing it with huge pride. So thank you to the board members. Thank you for all of you who invested in the Symphony and have supported us over the years. Thank you to my colleagues, Patricia Jones, Michael Christie, Sasha Gurevich, and all of you who have always answered my calls. So thank you.
So chapters continue to be written, and we're actually embarking on a new chapter with New West Symphony, a very exciting chapter. We're calling our New West Symphony membership, because we have felt for a long time, especially during COVID, we created so much material, video, and Natalia and I were talking about, well, how do we package these things up and get them out to people so that they can enjoy it? And we've been thinking about this for a number of years. And you know, with subscriptions, that's probably the thing that you hear a lot when you come to an arts organization. They say, oh, if you're a single ticket buyer, now subscribe, because we would like you to commit to being with us for the concerts of the season. And then as the subscriptions continued on, people kept saying, oh my gosh, I can't commit to October. I have no idea what I'm doing in October. And then the organizations said, well, we'll give you free exchanges, and then we'll let you turn them in for a charitable donation. And the whole thing just got so, I don't know, it became its own thing. And so what we've decided is, while subscriptions will continue on as one vehicle for people to participate, as well as single tickets, of course, is that we've created a membership program at different tiers, and you make effectively a donation to the orchestra at this membership tier, and for that donation, you are then given membership benefits. And of course, the key membership benefit is these performance passes to our concerts. So you can redeem one at a time, you can redeem all of them in your membership, you can redeem whatever combination. You can then use your membership benefit to purchase more of these passes at a discount. But we do this with a person in our office. It's not something you do on a computer. You call and you say, Sue or Lollipop, one of our other staff members, I would like to have these seats through the season and on these days. Or you can call us and we can make that ticket happen for you. Or you can call us the day before and you'd say, oh my gosh, I have 3 people I want to come, and I am going to use 3 of my passes to have them come along. As I mentioned before, the upfront is a charitable donation to the orchestra for those of you who are itemizing. And then in addition to the performance passes, then the benefits continue on. We will have membership events that happen monthly. So whether that is going to be a modest discount to a restaurant, for example, or another arts organization, or an experience like this in a place where members can come in for much reduced price, these kinds of things, to be part of the Symphony family's ongoing activities, because we want you to get something for the membership, that pledge of support that you give us. So I think that's going to be very, very special way for people to engage with the orchestra, because while you do get to keep your seats if you want to, you could also use that to sit in different places in the hall. You could use your membership to maybe go to Thousand Oaks in case you can't go to Camarillo, vice versa. The main word we want people to associate with this plan is flexibility, 100% flexibility in the program, and then perks. I should say 2 words, flexibility and perks. So
I trained you so well. I'm listening to you, like, oh my God. And I think that when we hired Michael Christie back in 2018, we had no idea how incredible he is and the skill set. So I am listening to Michael, and I know there will be a lot of creative ways for you to feel good as a member. And the email is going out this afternoon, so check your email, and Sasha has a 1-page information. And I just wanted to say that serendipitously, Dr. Paul Finkel called me about 6 months ago and said, so we're going to go with the membership program? He said, okay, I want to be an inaugural member. So we do have an inaugural member. You can be the second member of our Symphony membership. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them, as well as Michael and our team. This is my last project that I really wanted to make sure that we introduce, and the reason for that is one, flexibility, easy access, tax deductibility, and just a lot more engagement with the symphony based on the perks that Michael is going to deliver.
Yeah, because we had, as you well know, when we get to April, I'll say, all right, we'll see you in October, and everyone's like, oh, okay, we'll see, and then go into the summer. Well, this way, monthly, we get an opportunity, and not every month we'll have an event like a concert, but we'll have an opportunity as we stagger things through to make sure that you have an opportunity to engage with artists like Janice, to engage with artists like the members of our orchestra, other valuable partners in our community as well. So we hope you enjoy it. We've asked actually the local businesses that are going to be coming on board. We've said to them, we don't want you to take a financial hit with this. You are people, for example, Bistro 13 in Camarillo. Giovanni is one. We go to his restaurant after every Sunday concert. And so we have a relationship. He comes to our concerts. He's still talking about E.T. And he said, well, of course. So I'll give them 10% off the food part of the tab for 1 month. So it's nothing that we've said to those local businesses. We want to have you part of our business, of our family, but we don't want to hurt your business in any way. So we're just making a modest thing so you can express your thanks to our community partners. They can be part of our family. We can actually create what I think of as like a cultural passport in our community. We build musically and in the business economically as well. So we're really excited about it. I think we hear more and more evolving from the memberships of museums, and more performing arts organizations are starting to think about memberships. They're doing it in a completely different way. So we're experimenting with this, but at least for our community and the volume of activity that we do, we think this performance pass idea is going to be great. And you have a couple of wonderful staff members at the end of the phone who can guide you through all of that process. So I hope it's of interest. They will be good for the entire year that you sign up for the membership. So if you sign up in March, it will be good until end of February of the following year. So that's how the plan will work, and I can't wait. We're going to talk to another great restaurant this afternoon to talk about a plan that they're going to be involved with. So I hope it's fun. I think it's going to be.
And at the end of this infomercial on memberships, I wanted to say, just going back to my tenure with the symphony, I think that I specifically wanted to thank the leadership of University Village because they were our first cultural partner. And so when you guys opened in 2007 and we came to you and we said, we want to do some events, and the leadership opened the doors and said, we need this here, right here. So thank you so much. I saw Ernie and Holly is here, so thank you, University Village, and we treasure and value you as well. So thank you.
Natalia, there's no possible way. She's dancing out the door. There is just no possible way that we can express how grateful we are for your absolute devotion to this community. I will miss you immensely. We are work spouses. I think in so many ways we have conquered so many successes and challenges together, and we wouldn't be set up for the future without you.
Thank you.
Janice, we have one more piece to play.
Yes,
for
one
everybody.
last one. And I promise you this one's going to be really, really fun. This is actually written by my mentor. He's from Indonesia. Fun fact, he's actually a businessman, but he used a lot of his resources to create opportunities for young artists in Indonesia to perform, whether that's there or like in Europe or in Australia. And so he's done a lot for me. Growing up, I would fly to Jakarta day trips, and then I would just play for him, and then he would challenge me to like, learn this rep, let's do recital, let's do this program and that program. But he's also a wonderful composer. And so this piece is called Fragment, and it is inspired by the Balinese dance. It's divided into two parts, a slow part and then the fast part. I call the slow part sort of like a flirting between the prey and the hunter. And then the fast part is the hunting scene. So this is Fragment by Jaya Suprana.
I know. Thank you, Janice. Thank you all of our friends here at University Village in Thousand Oaks. You can hear Janice play with the New West Symphony Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2 this weekend, Thousand Oaks, Civic Arts Plaza, 7 p.m. on Saturday, and at Rancho Campana Performing Arts Center in Camarillo, 3 o'clock on Sunday. So if you were thinking, well, I wonder if I'm going to go hear this concert, I hope you're not wondering anymore. And if you're wondering about bringing a friend who hasn't been to New West Symphony and think, I wonder if they'll like this concert, you don't have to wonder anymore. We are so grateful to have all of you with us today, and of course to be on this incredible musical journey with you from year to year. It means the world of us to have time with all of you here, and we couldn't do it with all of you. So we'll hopefully see many of you on the weekend, and our next time to come together is at the beginning of March, where we'll be featuring music of Mozart from his Marriage of Figaro, and the American voices that created our musical heritage, like Leonard Bernstein, Aaron Copland, and Stephen Sondheim. So I hope you enjoyed the time until then. We'll see you very soon. Thank you so much.